In this video, we will cover the ins and outs of enrichment at Cincinnati Animal Care. This will include information on where to find enrichment, how to make it, how to clean items, and how to pass it out. First, we will take you on a virtual tour of the enrichment rooms at both locations. Let's start with our enrichment room at 3949 Coleraine Avenue. You will find the enrichment room right off of the lobby at Coleraine, which shares a space with one of the window rooms. As you enter, you will see bins with treats, kongs, Bones, and everything you need to make enrichment. Quick tip! We have 2 freezers at the Coleraine Avenue location dedicated to enrichment. Be sure to always check how full it is before prepping any more frozen items. If enrichment has not been passed out that day yet, you may need to pass out before prepping. In the room, you will also find a recipe binder with different enrichment items you can make with the supplies we have on site. The wire shelving next to the freezer will have our non-perishable food items that are safe from pests like mice. All other items like treats, kongs, bones, and wobblers are kept in sealed bins on the other shelf in the space. In the room, we also have kong kits available for pickup. The kits have 10 to 15 kongs, peanut butter and treats, everything you need to make kongs for our dogs, just as home. Come sign out a kit, take it home, and return once the kongs are filled. Hung around the room are various QR codes. Scan the supply request form to notify the enrichment coordinator of low supply. Scan the dragline QR to learn how to make drag lines for playgroup, and finally check out the Scentwork QR to learn a fun out-of-kennel enrichment activity you can do with the dogs. We also have a QR on the outside of the enrichment room. Scan it to access our at-home enrichment guide. This guide gives you ideas of enrichment you can make at home with items you can find around your house. Just like the kong kits, you will prep at home and bring to the shelter once complete. Be sure to also check out our dog-safe foods list by the freezer before you prep. The last sign you will see in the room is the cleaning checklist. This is a list of cleaning that can be done if you finish your volunteer shift early. Now let's head out of the enrichment room and check out the dish room. This is where you will clean reusable enrichment items like kongs, Bones, and lick mats. To get to the dish room, you will head out the glass door by the enrichment room. Turn right and head down past our first adoption run to the back hallway. Make sure to always make sure doors are shut behind you. Any hallway, room, or kennel door should always be shut completely after opening to lessen the risk of a loose dog. Once you are about halfway down the hallway, turn right by Private Room 2 and enter. The entrance to the dish room is inside. Inside the dish room, you will see shelves to the right for drying dishes, and to the left is the cleaning station. Now that we have toured Coleraine, let's take a look at our Dane location enrichment room. When you enter Dane, you will walk down the hallway and into the main part of the building. Head down the hallway that is to the left. The enrichment room is the last door on the left. The setup is very similar to the Coleraine enrichment room. Items that are shelf-stable and pest-safe are on the shelf, and everything else is inside labeled bins. There is a table for prepping in the middle of the room, and on it you will find the recipe binder. There are multiple freezers at Dane. The first is a small one inside the enrichment room. If you exit the enrichment room and head out into the adoption floor, you will find a refrigerator. The left side, the freezer side, is used for enrichment. If you turn right past this freezer, you will enter the storage room. There is another large freezer inside. Now that we have toured both buildings and gone over where to prep enrichment, where to find items for prepping, and where to find the freezers, let's go over how to make a couple staple enrichment items at Cincinnati Animal Care. The first item we are going to make is a kong. We will need a spatula, treats, peanut butter, and a kong. The best treats for kongs are small and will easily tip out if rolled around by a dog. Too large of treats will be difficult for the dogs to get out and make cleaning harder later. When we prep kongs, we fill it entirely with dry treats and then clog the top hole with peanut butter or pumpkin. Feel free to get creative and sprinkle some treats on the outside. Once your kong is completed, place it in the freezer inside a bin. If there is not a bin for Kongs already in the freezer, like in this video, spare bins can usually be found on a shelf in the enrichment room or in the dish room. Placing enrichment in bins instead of directly on the shelves helps us keep our freezers clean. Now let's go over how to make a smothered nylabone. For this recipe, you will need peanut butter, treats, and a nylabone. You can make these one of two ways. The first is to dunk the nylabone into the peanut butter jar and then roll in treats. You can also use a spatula to smear the peanut butter onto the nylabone and then sprinkle treats on top. Like most enrichment recipes, the nylabone will go into the freezer and into a bin once completed. Make sure to always wash your tools and clean up all surfaces after making enrichment items. So now let's chat about how we clean enrichment. The dish rooms at both locations have 3 tubs or sinks for cleaning. One is for soaking, one is for scrubbing, and one is for rinsing. There are signs posted about our cleaning protocols at both locations. All supplies needed to clean are located in the dish room. We have gloves, aprons, and scrubbers available to aid in the cleaning process. The first step for cleaning is to remove any leftover treats and debris from enrichment before soaking. Once you have removed leftover food from the enrichment items, it is time to soak. Fill the sink or tub with water and cleaner. For enrichment, it is best to soak with Dawn, as this will help lift the peanut butter and grease off of the items. Once done soaking, it is time to scrub until clean. At Dane, you will scrub over a tub filled with water to help lift debris since we do not have a sink system. Once you are done soaking, rinse until clean and place on the shelves provided for drying. Dry enrichment can be placed in tubs, brought back to the enrichment room, and placed in the appropriate bins. If the bins are too heavy to carry, they can be placed on the enrichment cart and rolled back to the room. So now that we know how to prep and clean enrichment, let's talk about how to pass it out safely. In the enrichment room, you will find signs stating what items are appropriate to go in kennels and what is not. Please make sure to only put approved items in kennels. If a dog accidentally ingests an item that is not digestible, it could result in an impaction, which could require surgery to remove or be fatal if not caught in time. We also have a sign that goes over basic safety reminders and tips. Let's start with how to open and close the kennel latches at both locations. At Dane, the latches are pretty simple. Pull up on the pin to release the door. There is a pin on both sides to either open the door in towards the dog or out towards you. To close, drop the pin down and give it a tug to ensure it is latched. At Collarin, we have 3 different types of latches. Watch closely to learn how to open and close each one. Now that we know how to open and close doors properly, let's look closer into the safety protocols when passing out enrichment. When placing items into kennels, you should always aim to place the items through the bars, over top of the kennel or underneath, before opting to open the door and place the item inside. If you are unable to toss enrichment over due to the top being covered or the item being too heavy or fragile to drop, follow these protocols when opening and closing the doors. Kneel down and press your knee firmly against the door. Open the latch and push the door inward, dropping the enrichment item as the door pushes the dog back. Close the door and latch before standing back up. Quick reminder, lick mats and frisbees are the only enrichment items that do not go inside the kennels. Instead, clip them to the outside with a carabiner. The final step of passing out is to do a walk-through. This is a quick walk in the runs, where you take a quick note of what dogs ate their enrichment and who didn't. This allows for us to tailor enrichment to each dog's preference. If you note a dog not enjoying their enrichment, submit a behavior slip and note the dog's name, location, and what item they did not enjoy. And that's it. Now you know the ins and outs of enrichment at Cincinnati Animal Care. The only thing left to do is sign up for your first shift.